Good evening, everybody, and welcome to this evening's update on Winter Storm Enzo. So, Winter Storm Enzo is beginning across south central Texas, and as of this evening, a freezing rain is beginning to develop in areas like San Antonio, into the Texas Hill Country, and moving up towards the Austin metro area. And as we go through the next few hours, going to about 10, 11 p.m. this evening, freezing rain will spread across the Texas Hill Country towards Waco, Austin, into San Antonio. Even up to northern Texas, we're going to start to see some snow as we go into about 11 p.m. Central Time this evening. Going into midnight, 1, 2 a.m., coverage will spread across central and southeastern Texas of both freezing rain and snow into central Louisiana as well. Seeing a lot of freezing rain in San Antonio, Houston, Austin, even up towards Waco could get as far north as Waco. As we go into about 2 a.m., going into 3, 4, 5 a.m., a very heavy snow and sleet in southeast Texas, heavy freezing rain, getting all the way down to Corpus Christi into the Rio Grande Valley. Heavy snow beginning to move into Louisiana as we go into 5 a.m. Central Time tomorrow morning, with heavy snow in Houston. Going into 6, 7, 8 a.m., very heavy snow will hug the Texas coast with freezing rain across deep South Texas into Victoria, heavy snow into the southern half of Louisiana, far southern Mississippi. It's going to be snowing heavily in New Orleans, through Baton Rouge, through Lafayette, through Lake Charles. It's looking like a historic snowstorm very far south as we go into about 7, 8, 9 a.m. tomorrow morning. Very heavy snow in southeastern Louisiana, southern Mississippi, southern Alabama, into the Florida Panhandle. It is snowing in the Gulf of Mexico as we go into noon tomorrow. And the snow will last into tomorrow afternoon, going to 4 p.m. It is still snowing like crazy in New Orleans, through Gulfport, Biloxi, through Mobile, Alabama, Pensacola, Florida. And then as we go into Tuesday evening, the snow will begin to push to the east, with a lot of heavy snow continuing across the Florida Panhandle as we go into 7 p.m. tomorrow evening, Central Time. So what does this mean for snowfall accumulations? This means very high snowfall accumulations for areas very far to the south. Areas of central Texas through southeast Texas in the HRRR model, looking at about a dusting to 2 inches of snow, about 2 inches in Houston, Beaumont, Port Arthur, up to 3 inches of snowfall accumulation, up to 4 inches in Lake Charles, up to 5 inches in Baton Rouge and Lafayette, and if the HRRR model verifies, could be seeing up to half a foot of snow in New Orleans from this storm, and up to 10 inches south of New Orleans. This would be absolutely historic if we were to see these kinds of snowfall accumulations. The HRRR model wants to keep it very far south, hugging the coast of Mississippi and Alabama, only seeing up to an inch of snow on the very far coastline in Gulfport, through Biloxi, through Pascagoula, south of Mobile, and in the Florida Panhandle. Man, this would be crazy. We could be seeing up to 6 inches of snow in the Florida Panhandle if the HRRR model verifies. Very, very crazy stuff, my friends. Even up to 7 inches now. Taking a look at the NAMNEST model, this has it just a little bit further to the north, seeing about half an inch to an inch of snow across southern Texas, in the valley through San Antonio, just south of Austin, south of Bryan College Station, about 2 inches in Houston. And then the NAMNEST model brings a quarter of very heavy snow from Beaumont through Lake Charles, through Lafayette, Baton Rouge. 6 to 10 inches of snow this far south is absolutely insane. Make sure you are preparing for this if you live across especially central Louisiana and southeastern Texas. Further north into Mississippi, Alabama, western Florida, about 2 to 6 inches of snow in these areas, including New Orleans, Biloxi, Gulfport, Mobile, through Pensacola. And man, seeing potentially up to 7 inches of snow once again in the Florida Panhandle in the NAMNEST model. And taking a look at our European model, this has it the furthest north. Man, we're seeing about 2 to 6 inches of snow along the Texas coast, about 3 to 7 inches of snow in central and southern Louisiana, about 2 to 4 inches in southern Mississippi, about 1 to 2 inches in southern Alabama, and about 2 to 4 inches in the Florida Panhandle in the European model. A very, very heavy snowfall for the deep south again in the European model. 5 inches in Houston, 5 in Corpus Christi, 5 in Lake Charles, 5 in Baton Rouge, 4 inches in New Orleans. So this is just going to be a historic snowstorm for my friends across the deep south. And taking a look at our ice accretion in the HRRR model, ice is going to be a problem in deep south Texas in the valley. Could be seeing a glaze up to 1/10 of an inch of ice. Many areas across the valley, including San Antonio, Corpus Christi, areas even just northwest of Brownsville, with a glaze of ice possible in Austin and Houston as well. And closing off the video with the National Weather Service watches, warnings, and advisories map. We hardly ever see this. We have a winter storm warning along the entire Gulf Coast from south to southeast Texas, Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, much of southern central Georgia, and we have a winter storm warning for the entire Florida Panhandle. How often do we see that? Into southern South Carolina as well, with winter weather advisories to the north in the purples. So make sure you're preparing for this historic snowstorm and get ready for some exciting snow if you live across the deep south. And before I close off, look at all these cold weather warnings across most of the eastern half of the country. This is just bitter cold ongoing across the eastern 2/3 of the country. Thanks for watching. Please stay safe. Have a wonderful evening, my friends.